Usma.
Usma will tell. This handout that I gave out, it is about a school, and the school it was set up, a new school it was set up. Obviously the structure is in a British context, so there might be slight difference. So we might have some problems in understanding, but simple thing is that a new school was set up. It had one head teacher in its first 8 years, and after that, it was changed. The headship that had retired. Now the first case study tells us why that head teacher retired, what he achieved during those 8 years of the life of the school, the beginning of the school, first 8 years, what he achieved, how he acted, what were the strategic decisions that he made, and you are to see what was good in those strategic decisions, what was weak in those strategic decisions. You are obviously in education, you can look at those decisions, you can see how useful and how those initials, I think they are function the first part of the case study explains the tenure of that first head teacher. Right? Both are male teachers, unfortunately, which I generally don't appreciate. But anyway, this is the case study. So during the head teacher's tenure, from the very beginning, how he set up the school, how he organized student recruitment, how he organized his teamwork, how he organized different activities. You just, I mean, if you had read, that was the reason I emailed it a week before, and I'm really disappointed that it wasn't sent out. If you had an opportunity to read it, this discussion would have been more meaningful. But anyway, we'll talk about that and we'll get some idea. So during those 8 years, the school progressed. Then certain things happened, and again linked to strategic decisions and strategic planning, right? Which led to certain issues and deterioration in the performance of the school. Now again, you have to identify what were those decisions and what were the strategic plans or weaknesses in the strategic plans on the part of the head teacher that led to deterioration in the school which was progressing so well, right? But it was the same head teacher, right? Then a point reaches where the head teacher chooses to resign, right? You will know why and what happened. And another head teacher is appointed, right? Now that head teacher, I don't think we have finished yet. After the resignation of the first head teacher, another head teacher is appointed, and obviously his job is to take the school forward and take it out of those difficulties where it has gone. Right? Now, specific task given to this new head teacher. What that new head teacher does is to take school out of those difficulties. What sort of strategic decisions he makes? What is the plans that he puts in place? How right and wrong those are. These case studies were accompanied by sheets. When I sent out the email, I sent these sheets also accompanying the case studies. And what these sheets?
At Chips Ford Hall, over here they appointed a teacher, head teacher, and he tried to win heart of all the staff members by actually trying to solve down.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This was a new school.
This was a new school, right?
And this school, in the UK context, the schools are established by
an aristocratic family.
There is generally a trust on a board of directors,
right?
A board of governors in a school. So the head teacher was appointed by that board of governors.
Mr. Suttle.
And head teacher was Mr. Suttle. Yes.
Right.
What did he do first when he was appointed? It was a new school, keep it in mind. It wasn't
right.
a running school, it was a new school.
It was a new school and no expense was spared to lure the men and women, and he has to actually recruit.
Men and women for what purpose?
Actually, spare.
Yes.
In this paragraph, he had actually traveled across and he appointed all good people, good teachers, and he appointed them, and again on top of it, a head teacher.
He was himself a teacher.
Sorry, and then head of the department. So he was making the structure.
His first thing that he decided was important was to select a team for himself, right? So that team was primarily the head of departments, because that is the sort of what we call middle management level team. So that he selected, he really worked intensively to select appropriate people. Why do you think that is important?
To establish a new school and to attract the clientele, definitely.
We don't need good head of departments for old schools.
For a good running
Middle management to actually make a bridge between
to establish a good team, because one head teacher can't do anything. You have to keep it in mind. No one person can do all things. We do need teams. And that is what we were talking about yesterday on distributed leadership. It links with that because he needed a team. So first thing he did was, that was his first strategic decision, to build a good team. What was the second strategic decision in that? Those who have read. What was the second thing that he did in school plan? What else do you do in setting up a new school? Yes, please.
Those 5 heads basically appointed, then they were given the responsibility to hire the staff then.
Right. What else?
And-
what next then?
And then he had a new team of 32 academics and 18 administrative
Right.
staff.
What else? Sorry?
And then they all together made the mission statement and the objectives.
Students, definitely. I mean, you can't run a school without students. That was the second thing that he did. So, how did he do his recruitment? Any particular thing, strategy that he used for recruitment?
He visited schools once and then he selected those.
Yes.
he offered scholarships.
This was a secondary school, so the system is that primary schools are feeders for secondary schools. Right? So he visited other lower schools so that to convince people to send the children to this new school. So he visited. So the important thing is that he made personal contacts. Right? That is the strategy that he's using. He's not advertising in the newspaper and leaving it there, but he is taking personal initiative because it is a new school. It doesn't have an established reputation yet, so he goes out and he recruits. Right. So he established the school. He got a very high recruitment. Then what happened? How did the team work after the school was established? I'm going a bit fast, so we have to things as well. So what happened next?
Environment was very pleasant for all the workers. And
How did he make the environment pleasant?
He was very passionate.
Very tightly knit sort of.
So his approach to team building was very personalized. He very personalized, and he developed very good relations with his members of staff. He was always available for the staff. So he would walk around the school constantly. He would always be available for them. So a specific approach to personalized relationships. We yesterday also talked about communication and interpersonal relations. You have to keep in mind that each approach has its strengths and weaknesses. Now, this is one approach. Keep in mind what its strengths will be and what its weaknesses will be. This was one particular approach of interpersonal relations that he adopted, having very personal relationships. So they would meet every week, the whole staff. And where the meetings were held?
In the staff room.
No, outside.
Where? Where were the meetings held?
One of the local
Bars. One of the local bars. Bar is like meeting in the restaurant. It's not there. It's bar is their culture. So the weekly meetings were held in a bar after the school time. So that is another interesting approach. You see, that means he's taking it out of formal territory. Formal territory will be a staff room or a meeting room or something. He's taking it out of a formal territory. So it again fits in with his personalized approach. So that is his approach in team building. So how does the team respond? How does the work continue in the school?
Everybody was very enthusiastic.
Very
Everyone was
enthusiastic.
giving 100% of their
100% of their, very enthusiastic, giving 100% of their efforts. So the school was progressing very well. Their reputation developed and they got more students than they could even cope. So doing very well. A lot of other things that they were doing and involving, most of them involved more personal contacts and personal activities. But where the things started going wrong?
when we asked for the money for to set up the ITL.
Asked whom for the money?
The trust.
The trust. Right. Why did the relationship fail?
Because once the ITL was set, it was actually not set properly the way it has to be set. And then eventually when it got finalized.
Was there anything before that?
I think the families, they were worried because he was cutting into the family's time when he was taking them on weekends and calling them off the hours and all that. So the families were not satisfied.
Yes.
They were able to run it successfully and it started growing from the side.
One problem.
Like he would preach China, he would preach everyone.
Couple of things which came up here. Definitely, you are sort of pointing to the right directions. One thing was that this sort of personalized thing, for example, meeting after the school hours, then regular meetings, it makes a demand of staff done. Initially when staff started there, they were new in that area, so they enjoyed, they were excited. Gradually, when they developed their own families, friends, established there, they had other demands on their time also. So gradually they found it difficult to give that much extra time to the school after every week after school, and particularly if they had spouses, for example, if it were males, then their female partners at home and their wives and children, they said, why are they going there after school? See, there has to be a balance between family and work as well. That is another important aspect of strategic management. You can't make extraordinary demands on people continuously. Once in a while you can, but you can't carry that on as a regular practice. So what happened was that gradually families started being unhappy about these demands. Although the people who went there, they enjoyed it, they had drinks, they had chats, and they talked informally about it. But those who were left behind, they felt being left out. The second thing was that the trust wasn't happy with his strategic approach. They thought that he was investing too much in it. There were free teas for the staff, small things. But you see, trust is like board of governors, are like management who is looking after your finances, where you have to give account of your finances.